year putting something really special together for our last Fan Fridays prize of the season. And my masterpiece is finally complete.
Ooh, look at
You
that.
can win the ultimate Wheel of Fortune memorabilia collection.
Well, the time has come to say goodbye. I have a few thanks and acknowledgments before I go, and I want to start with all of you watching out there. It's been an incredible privilege to be invited into millions of homes night after.
Wow. So I was not able to catch the last episode. My TV, I have the cancer TV, by the way, the cancer TV that my cousin, God rest her soul in heaven, I hope, or wherever she is. She had lung cancer, and so I have her TV. I inherited it. But I was not able to do auto scan or whatever scan you have to do to get new channels. I don't know what's it's a Vizio fucking TV, but that's how it is. But I did not catch the last episode. I remember David Letterman made a joke or two about, isn't it funny that I'm retiring? And this was 2015. I'm retiring, but Pat Sajak and Vanna White are still doing Wheel of Fortune over there. They're still doing that Wheel of Fortune. It's like, hey, there were times where we worked across different studios or we were across the street, and it's like, hey, are you guys, you still doing that game show? So they would be on the air for another 9 years. So yeah, how many years had it been? Since the early 80s, right? Yeah, since the early 80s. So my memories of Wheel of Fortune, because the last episode aired tonight on Friday, June the 7th, right? Yeah. June 7th, 2024 was the last episode. And unfortunately I did not get to watch it. Pat Sajak, there's a reel on Maggie Sajak. Very cute, very lovely Maggie Sajak. Not as lovely as Amaya, but still a lovely blonde, and the daughter of Pat Sajak. And I think they got a new host, and Maggie Sajak is going to be the new letter turner, the new Vanna. Okay, so she's the new Vanna White. And so yeah, Vanna White and Pat Sajak, their last show. So my memories, and I do remember the first time Vanna White appeared on The Price is Right, though I didn't watch that until the early 90s or so, or right when I turned 18. And I think it was Johnny Olson as the announcer, and Bob Barker. God, Bob Barker's died. So my early memories of the Wheel of Fortune were, it used to be on during the daytime. Okay, so I think, no, Days of Our Lives is actually on Peacock, isn't it? It's not on network television anymore, right? Yeah. But back in the days, there were two kinds of things women would watch on NBC. And I say NBC, okay? You had game shows and you had daytime, like, soap operas. And the soap operas, you had The Search for Tomorrow, or Another World, or Santa Barbara, right? Or Days of Our Lives. But before that, you had game shows. Sale of the Century, The Joker's Wild, Classic Concentration with Alex Trebek. Wheel of Fortune would come probably last. But I used to watch Wheel of Fortune whenever I was sick from school, from the third grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade. And they had dot 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 dot, but they had that until like the 90s or so. And then they changed it to some rock and roll thing that, like, old person still cool rock and roll music, right? And then they changed it back to the theme that we all know. And I think they're going to keep that for the newer seasons. I don't know who it's a new guy, and it's Maggie as the letter turner, but I don't know. Like I said, I think they're going to keep the old theme, or maybe they'll do something a little bit different. Yeah, this is the puzzle wall. Now, the puzzle wall used to be, what is it, like green, like it used to be these physical things you turn, kind of like it had the same logic as a tic-tac-toe beanbag set. So you get beanbags and you hit the letters. They're like these triangles, and you get an X, right? You get an X, or you get an O, right? You get an X or an O, and then you get the letters. So it used to be that you'd physically turn the letters to get to solve the puzzle. And it had this sort of crown, this gold and white crown surrounding it. Everybody remembers that iconic gold and white crown. They should bring that back too, along with the theme music. But I wasn't until maybe the last 20 years that the physical letters became digital and it became light up, so they could change the puzzle easily and not have to go and get somebody to go in there and unscrew the triangles and put in the new triangles or whatever. They have to like you had spaces here for like the green. So the green kind of glittery wall would represent what's not being used. The white is unsolved and the letters are solved. But you kept the green as a triangle, like these little triangles. Anyway, I'm explaining the technical things here. At the beginning, you had lose a spin. You always had bankrupt. Lose a turn, lose a spin, you get a free spin. And then you had 1,000, you had 5,000, and then you had 10,000. Or no, I think it's 5,000 was the silver space. And then you had other spaces as time went on. And I'm thinking, I remember Charlie, the announcer for Wheel of Fortune. It sounded like Don Pardo. Yes, that's right, Pat. We have these fabulous jewelry, these fabulous prizes here. Currently, $2,000 or whatever it is. And then Charlie died, I think. I don't know when he died. Somebody will tell me when Charlie died, the announcer for Wheel of Fortune. And then things changed. Things changed over time. There's one of the contestants. I don't know if there's a GIF of Pat Sajak and Vanna White, but I think that's the original letter setup. Yeah, that's the original analog physical letters that you would turn. Yeah, what a different time this was. I remember a time before. Well, it went from daytime, right? It went from daytime, and then it had a CBS slot, and I think Bob something. He looked like Bob Goulet. I think this Bob Goulet guy died. Bob Goulet is also dead, and then Pat Sajak was full-time host. But there was a CBS slot for Wheel of Fortune, and then I think it wasn't until the late 80s, early 90s, somewhere around the late 80s, early 90s, yeah, that Wheel of Fortune got an ABC slot, 7:30, and it had been that way for 35 years. So for 35 years, you'd have Pat Sajak and Vanna White, much like you'd have Johnny Carson. So they went from the Johnny Carson era to the Jay Leno era to Jimmy Fallon, a little bit of Conan O'Brien, and yeah, that's where they're at now. So they went through so many eras of late night talk show hosts, from Tom Snyder to David Letterman, and then what's his face? I forgot his stupid name. Stephen Colbert. Yeah. So they've been around forever. They've been around for as long as I've been alive. Now that came later, the bankrupt space and the million space. I'm just rambling about old times, but they would change the spaces over time. The sort of the sudden death, the last where you would spin the wheel, and everybody takes turns rapid fire solving the last puzzle. I think that's been around for as long as I could remember. I don't know if it's always been around, but it may not have always been around, but I remember it. I think I showed you all the digital game, the dot matrix little where you could create your own puzzles and solve Wheel of Fortune puzzles, and it used to work with the television set. And I think they started the primetime shows in 1988, because I think that was to commemorate the primetime debut of Wheel of Fortune in 1988 with that blue sort of remote control that's actually a game where you had all the letters. You had all the letters to the alphabet, and it was like a little keyboard. And so you point the handheld game at the television set, the analog TV, and it would broadcast to the signal so that you would have the exact puzzle that's on the television right on your little dot matrix screen. And that lasted for about 2 or 3 years. So I couldn't use it anymore. Point it at the TV. You can't even point it at the TV. And let's see. Oh yeah. Ba-da-da-da. Da-da, da-da, da-da-da-da. Yeah, so they had that old-fashioned jazzy music. Yeah, I remember the oh, that's the Price is Right. Pat, I'd like to solve the damn puzzle. Yeah. And you had to enunciate your words. You have to enunciate your words so that you have to I'd like to solve the puzzle. That's how you have to do it whenever you were testing people out. Ah, yes, this is from the 80s. I think this is Merv Griffin Productions, and I remember Merv Griffin when he was still alive. I'll make a game show. That'll be good. Yeah, more stuff here. Let me see if I can learn something about the genesis of Wheel of Fortune, because I don't really know how this all came about. All right, so Wheel of Fortune is an American television game show created by Merv Griffin. The show has aired continuously since 1975 in January. It's older than me. It features a competition which contestants solve word puzzles. The current version of the series, which airs in nightly syndication, September. Oh yeah, premiered in '83. Yeah, I knew it was either '83 or '84, something like that. Until June 2024. Ryan Seacrest. Oh God. Just get Chuck Woolery. Remember when I did see an early episode where Chuck Woolery, he says, "I love to give hugs." You know, that Chuck Woolery. He was the host of Wheel of Fortune. I think it might have been in the late 70s. Oh my God! Let's see the origin. I know Chuck Woolery for sure. Now I remember that Chuck Woolery was the host for a little bit. The original version was a network daytime series that ran on NBC. That's right. That's right. And then at 88, it had a primetime slot. It ran from 75 to June 30th, 1989. And then, that's right, on CBS. From 88 to 91, returned to NBC. It went back and forth and was canceled that year. Yep, ending in 1991. And then it got on ABC. But I thought it was on primetime. The network version was originally hosted by Chuck Woolery, Susan Stafford. Woolery left. Yeah, I mean, he's still a good host. People would want him back, but I think Chuck Woolery's done. I don't think he's going to come back. I can think of better hosts. Get David Letterman. It's like, hey, Dave, want to do a game show? No. 7,000 episodes. And then there were more. There were more than 7,000. I think they did 8,000? I don't even know. No, they probably did almost 8,000 episodes. I'm not sure. Yeah, so they traveled the world. So conception and development. Let me see that for a moment. Merv Griffin conceived Wheel of Fortune from Hangman. Yeah. My sisters had a Pressman version of Hangman. And in that, you had a large plastic folder and you had this turn dial and you would turn the knob to show the hangman getting hanged. And you had these little plastic pieces that you'd put on the top of the hangman. And that was back in the 70s. And I can remember it as far back as I was alive. So Hangman, he would play with his sister on road trips. After he discussed the idea with Merv Griffin Enterprises staff, they thought that his idea would work. I think this would work. And he decided to add a roulette-style wheel because he was always drawn to such wheels in casinos. I love casinos. How good are you, Mr. Griffin? I lost money. Probably the truth there. Consulting executive of Caesar's Palace to find out how do you build this wheel? Anyway, in summary, you have to be the biggest fool in the world if you follow me for a long time and this happens and you didn't think I was not going to talk about it. Something that had been part of my life, my routine life, now is suddenly gone. You know, when Johnny Carson left, I was about 14 years old, so I was still developing. Jay Leno, I didn't give a shit because he took Conan's job. Conan left, I did talk about it while I was playing Splatoon. Game and speak, of course. This was a big deal. Supernatural. And I talked about Supernatural leaving after 15 seasons. But yeah, I mean, this is the way they were, you know. And yeah, it's gone. But Yeah, thank you to both of you. I don't really. I think they probably wouldn't have been very nice. I think maybe Vanna would have been nice to me, but not Pat. You know, what I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't understand why he needed to drink. If you needed a drink on any fucking game show, it would have been The Price is Right, because those contestants were out of control. Really. It could have been worse. He could have been the host for the chamber. Remember the chamber where you were in a chamber and they threw ice at you, or wind, or water, or fire, and it's like you had to answer the questions, and like it lasted 3 episodes, and then like there was a lawsuit at Fox. Even if after Fox, the corporation like gave so many warnings, I kind of felt that's the one time I felt bad for the corporation. It's like they told you not to go in there unless you were healthy enough to go in there. It's like you're gonna answer the questions, or you get burned in there like a like a Cornish gay hen, or you're in the ice, you're a fucking popsicle. The guy got hypothermia and all that. Anyway, well, thank you to the both of them. I know they don't care what I think, but I hope you all care what I think. And yeah, so good luck to them, and let's see how Maggie Sajak does. I might be watching more of that. Maggie at the letters, and Ryan Seacrest. If that doesn't work, who else could do it? Maybe Jabroni Mike, the host for the new host for Wheel of Fortune. Yeah. Mario, Super Mario Brothers. Anyway, I like it all when you visit, and I love it when you return. Stay tuned for more content.